And he's back in the building. Yes, smoke, lightning, thunder. He's here with his magic tricks.
Oh, Thor?
It's always a grand entrance with the one and only Craig Heppel.
I thought you were talking about Thor. No, it's me, mate. It's only me, your humble local real estate agent.
How are you?
Yeah, great, buddy. Thanks for having me.
No worries. What are we up to this week?
Well, episode 112, is it only the agents that deserve a bad rap? And we hear it so often, bloody agents.
Right.
We cop our fair share of criticism, and sadly a small grouping of the entire industry don't do us any favours with behaviour, actions, omissions and mistakes quickly making headlines or spreading like wildfire through community and digital word of mouth. Now, we've talked before about the Australian Professional Ethics Index, and not much has changed in the last couple of years. Agents inhabit the bottom half of the index, along with politicians, lawyers, company directors and radio talent. Joking. But at the other end of the scale, we've got fireys, nurses, ambos and GPs. They're up the top. And I've said this before, it's worth noting 95% of homeowners will still hire an agent to sell their property, despite the reputation. But let's look at the agent-seller relationship through a 180-degree perspective. Are all home sellers on the up and up? I can say the vast majority are, but like the bum rap a small number of agents give to an entire industry, there are a small number of home sellers who provide less than savoury partnership parameters and can make the job of an agent much harder than it should be.
Who are you pointing the finger at then?
Well, he who is without sin casts the first stone. During my couple of decades plus as a property professional, I've represented home sellers who have been less than honest, transparent, and some just downright deceptive.
I like how you say over the last couple of decades. We're only talking the other day. You said 1 minute was 1989, you blinked and now we're here in 2025.
Yeah, it was 1989 a minute ago. Yeah, where's it gone? So recent experience might explain what I mean. The names and property information I have before me have been withheld to protect the guilty. Christine called us, and that's Christine. We won't give her real name.
In rabbit ears?
Yes.
Yep. Christine.
Christine called us in to sell her unique property that had got beyond her, and she wanted to head back to the mainland after 5 years here in Tassie. She'd carried out some substantial landscaping and brought the property back to most of its previous grandeur. Now, as I do, I asked the question, how much do you want to get for it? Her reply was $1.6 million, with the usual 10-minute sales pitch to convince me of that value proposition.
I've been on Google.
I've been on Google. But judging by the look on my face, she said, what's it really worth, Craig? I said 1.2 to 1.3. Oh, I want to list it at 1.5 plus and see what happens. Okay, sure. The market will tell us pretty quickly if they agree with your expectations. Now, we listed it in September. 4 months later, all we heard was the birds chirping and a few half-hearted buyer inspections with market opinions ranging from 900K to about 1.1, maybe 1.2 mil. Mm-hmm. Now, her consistent response to this feedback was, let's wait until the new year. Someone might just come along with the money I want. And they didn't.
There are those birds again.
There's the birds again. Finally, she agreed to adjust the price to around 1.3 and the fish started nibbling. I got a buyer on the hook, and after Christine doing her best to cut the line, we agreed on a deal worth 1.2 mil.
Christine, what are you doing?
Around 1.2. Oh, yeah, she had the cutters out. As we were in the process of formalising the deal with a solid contract, Christine, the seller, tells me she's got another buyer. And she says, let's play the two buyers off against each other. I went DEFCON 5, WTF. What other buyers? How did you meet them? Why haven't I spoken to them to qualify them? Turned out that a friend of hers told another friend who's got relatives who'd returned from OS to Tassie about the property. They, unbeknownst to me, inspected the property with Christine about 4 weeks before I hooked the buyers we had come to an agreement with. Can you see the steam coming out of my ears?
Your face is turning a bit red.
Oh, she was about to try and slide a buyer underneath me or completely bugger up the great deal we'd secured. After grilling Christine, my spidey senses told me that these other buyers had no money and were, as they say, dreaming. I arranged basically demanded for her buyers to come for a second inspection with me, and I put the blowtorch to them. As I suspected, they melted. They had no money, were a long shot to secure any finance from a bank. They were no hope.
Christine, get out of the way.
Reporting this back to Christine, she responded, "Oh, at least we tried." I had to be blunt. "Christine, you almost blew our real deal out of the water. I told you these clowns had no money. We are so close to you getting a great price and allowing you to move on with your life. Please don't pull that shit again. Blink, blink, move on." The deal I worked on like a lunatic held together, despite Christine's best efforts to scupper it again over a building report. On the day the home changed hands and she got a great price for it, she said, "We're a great team, Craig." "Sure, we were, Christine. I need a drink, a big one."
And Christine Sharp, thank you very much.
Sadly, some agents can be a problem, but don't discount the capabilities of a seller hell-bent on sabotaging their own outcomes and future with greed and unrealistic expectations driving their behaviour. Let's talk about House of the Week.
Lighten the mood a bit, you reckon?
Let's lighten you down. But
it's from Christine, and she's got a...
House of the Week, 644 Castor Road, Abbotsham.
Oh, okay, out of the CBD.
Yeah, just 10 minutes out of Ulverston. A charming 1900s home on a third of an acre, just 10 minutes from the centre of Ulverston. Used to be the old school headmaster's home back in the day.
Nice.
Beautiful. 3 beds, it's got a shed, a fenced block. It's a fantastic rural getaway, and the guide is mid-500s. So if you want to know more about this, call me on 0400 180 515 or go to ulverstonrealestate.com.